Hey. I'll see you in 5 minutes. See you in 4.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
This is something that's been on the watch pile for a while that I wanted to get around to, and I think I can't remember when it said, like, remind me next time, like, if we're doing something that you haven't seen, let's do this one. But then for some reason, things gets pushed back. It's not to say it's not a bad film at all.
I don't think it's not that I've not been interested either, to be fair. I don't think it's more that, it's been, we've watched something similar, or...
Yeah, I guess it is down to that a little bit, to be honest. It's like, okay, yeah, we've kind of had an action film, or we've had something a bit dark, let's go something a bit lighter, more like drama-based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got a selling point of this one anyways, because...
Yeah, I told you Ryan Gosling's in it.
Swoon. It's weird, it depends on which Ryan Gosling... I know, this sounds daft. Appears.
This is 2011, Ryan Gosling, so...
When was The Notebook? No, he's an early... No.
Yeah. That was early, wasn't it?
Yeah, because like in La La Land, I don't fancy Ryan Gosling. It's really weird.
But now when he's like Ken...
Yeah. But then when he was in The Notebook, 100%.
So it's like the Ryan Gosling hotness chart goes like
yeah,
up and down.
So it's a bit
appeal, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was one part where like he'd gone cringe and he was a bit ugh. I don't know.
Right. When was that?
I don't think. And it was, there were certain films I just don't think I'll gel in with his films nor his appeal. Because then obviously there's, well, he's all right in like the one that is with Emma Stone in. Is he with Emma Stone?
Yeah. But he was in Gangster Squad.
I think I liked him still then. It's in between.
The Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
Well, that was like a similar time though as well, so
that's fine. It's after that, whatever he did after that.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm just like, It just, his voice seemed very high pitched for the fact that he was more grown. I think more bleached blondie hair and such, even though it works in Ken. It's.
Well, I think, despite it being an action film, in a sense, there's drama, but...
Is Emma Stone in it?
No, she's not.
Ah.
But we've got, if you remember, Promising Young Women.
Oh, yeah.
The lead in that, Carey Mulligan, is in this.
I've actually put that film way back to the back of my head. I won't lie.
In a good way or a bad way?
Yeah. I think it was a bit trippy, wasn't it? And it a bit...
Well, I wouldn't say trippy, it was just more the way the film handled obviously like how men...
Well, yeah.
Down women.
But she was like unhinged.
In a sense. Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
but she did a good performance, like I can't fault her for it.
And so, I'll read the synopsis for this anyway.
Okay.
A stuntman and getaway driver falls in love with Irene, who is married to a criminal. In a bid to protect her from her husband and gangsters, he decides to cross over to the other side of the law.
So he becomes bad.
So take matters into his own hands, basically.
All for love. So it's a love story, is that what you're saying, like when we went to Deadpool, yeah?
No, not quite like that.
It's not sounding offensive, so... I know he's in a pink jacket.
Don't
know why. No. What am I thinking of then?
No, it's a scorpion jacket. It's the iconic...
I thought it was... Oh, is it a pink car he's driving?
I think it's just kind of that neon thing of like LA type of thing, like an 80s aesthetic to it.
Okay.
But it's not set in the 80s, that makes sense. It's just that kind of
I think
like...
this is the Ryan I don't really fancy, so we'll see.
Oh, right, okay.
It might. You never know. It might work. After seeing Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a bit of a eye opener on that, and maybe a bit of a reappraisal.
Well, it's weird because I used to think that Ryan Reynolds was better than Ryan Gosling, but I don't know now.
I gotta say,
I can name more that Ryan
Gosling
has done compared to Reynolds.
Where Ryan Reynolds is not doing the same character and just being himself in.
Well, yeah, he pretty much is just
almost in everything he does.
The best one I'd say is The Proposal. That would be like, and then obviously Deadpool. They would be the two Ryan Reynolds ones. Whereas obviously Ryan Gosling's got Notebook. He's got
he's
La
more
La
varied.
Land.
I feel he's more varied.
Yeah, he's got Barbie.
Range. Yeah. Anyway, yep, definitely looking forward to rewatching this one. There's a lot to take in. And
what's the hour time running?
Hour 40.
Love and action because of that. It's never too long. That's fine.
Well, you say, like John Wick's.
That just takes the piss.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's got way.
That's because he fell down the steps about 20 times. That's why it took so long.
Yeah. Right, well, we'll be back with our thoughts, or rather Sophie's thoughts, on a first time watch of Drive.
There's 100,000 streets in this city. You don't need to know the route. You give me a time and a place, I give you a 5-minute window. Anything happens in that 5 minutes and I'm yours. No matter what. Anything happens a minute either side of that and you're on your own. Do you understand? Good. And you won't be able to reach me on this phone again.
Vroom vroom. We're back. After seeing Drive, and I'm trying to think of a Drive pun, but I can't. To your expectations, but I can't really think of one.
Did it drive me round the roundabout? No?
Round the bend.
Don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It didn't drive me around the bend, but I don't know any of the puns that I can think of.
Oh, right, okay. I say, yeah, I thought you meant you didn't know what you thought of the...
Oh, no, I do know what I think.
Okay. Firstly, what, in terms of Ryan Gosling himself as the driver, because you said, like, what's his actual name? So that he's just like a nameless character.
Well, I'll be honest, sometimes I think, oh, do I miss names in this, and then do I...
No, that's fair. There is sometimes the case of that.
Well, yeah, it is, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that person's name, and I've just missed it because I've just said it once or something.
Yeah.
But like you did say, it's like pretty much doesn't have a name. He's very subdued, he's very quiet. Always is the quiet ones which are the worst ones. So I should be frightened of you, shouldn't I? But sometimes he's got to have a deep voice and it works, and the other time when he's like talking to, is it Lila? Irene. I don't know where Liza's come from. Irene, he gets a bit more soft spoken, and that's the bit where it creeps me out a little bit with his voice. I think this is the Ryan Gosling that I don't find attractive, but his performance in this is really, really good. It's really strong, even though he doesn't say a lot.
Well, no, he's meant to come across like a sort of stoic character that is, he's very focused on what he has to do in terms of his role in this world, really. He's just sticks to his lane, really, with that. And, it's that mantra of, you've got, 5 minutes, I'm yours, whatever happens within that, and I'm there to be at your disposal, but after that, you're on your own, basically. Yeah.
Which is a good motto, because he's explaining what's going to happen. It's not like I'm going to carry on with you and, we'll see it to the end. He's like, right, literally, these are my rules, these are my policies. If you don't want them, fair enough, on your bike, I won't take the job. If you do, then you know the consequences of if it goes bad, it's on you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he is a really lovable character
Could almost say he's an anti-hero.
Oh, does that mean I can use that for my story when we post it? I was thinking of Rihanna's "Shut Up and Drive." That was one that came in.
That could work as well. But this anti-hero is definitely what I think he would class him as anyway, because he's trying to do right by Irene, and just like in general with people, like he's not getting him too involved, but he's also like committing sort of crimes, but taking it into his own hands in a way.
It is strange because when we kind of did the pre-ramble, I don't know if I misinterpreted, but I thought he was only coming on the scene as being a bit of a bad guy once he'd kind of met Irene and the son and wanted to do good for them. But it's not the case. He's always been a driver on a night.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. Whereas I thought he'd be a normal everyday Joe Blogs. Mm-hmm. And then he'd meet her and the circumstance would come, and then that's when he would become the driver, if that makes sense. Which I think he would feel more for him, because he is playing a double life, so to speak. Even when he meets Irene, he's acting like a good guy, but he still has his side hustle, which actually, yes, okay, he doesn't get his hands dirty, he doesn't, doesn't have a gun, he doesn't have, like, hurt anybody at that point.
Yeah,
and he's, just basically the getaway driver. Gets a bit of money on the side for it. That's about it. Obviously, when he meets Irene, his emotions become involved and get invested, and that's when it goes a bit south. It shows you when you get attached. It's where it all goes wrong, isn't it? But for him and his character, he's not like the type to get attached. He seems to be that she's the only one he's attached to.
For whatever reason, yeah, he seems kind of smitten. But with that, I guess there's no real strong reasoning. He kind of just just fancies her, really. There's no she helped him out in a different way, and it's more
he's fancied her from afar from the get-go. Yeah, obviously he's noticed her in his building, and then he saw, this is a prime opportunity to actually speak to her now, because her car's not working. I can help her with that and fix it, and become a good guy or a helpful guy in her eyes. He does remind me of you, just the silence. So, like, when we first met, he's intriguing. Like, he doesn't speak a lot. And that was something when I started dating you, I was like, what is he thinking? Sometimes now, yes, I know you don't think anything. But at the time, I did think, he's very intelligent. He's very smart. He's intriguing. You're not like an open book that I can predict every single move you're going to do.
No.
And I think that's what this character is. Because he is silent, but he's compassionate and caring, there's a lure to go back to him. But at the same time, you're like, I don't know what his, like, threshold is. Where is his, like, good or bad scale? Like, obviously, her husband, Irene's husband, you can tell he's a bad guy. And I know that sounds daft. Like, you just know he's a baddie. Yeah. And I feel like, please don't slander me, I feel like with Ryan's persona, you've got this, like, kind of angel-like white hair.
Blonde head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good person.
Caucasian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like then you've got your cliche bad person who is tender-skinned, more like to rough and ready, will literally picks a fight once he comes out of prison with Ryan's character straight away, because he knows he's a threat. Because they're like, you're a good guy. You should be with Irene. But I knocked her up when she were only 18, and that's why she's still with me.
Yeah.
It's got layers, as this film. It's like an onion. Get it?
Get what?
I'm donkey.
Yeah, and? What's that got to do with this
Just
film?
love being able to put in a Shrek pun. Oh, remind me when it's my birthday. I feel like Shrek should just be on there. We haven't covered Shrek.
No, we haven't covered Shrek.
Classic.
What I find interesting in this watch, actually, when you're saying about, his dad, he comes across as the bad guy. And when they're watching, when Ryan's in Irene's apartment with the son, they're watching TV, he's just like, is he the bad guy? Yeah, he's a shark. So why are all sharks bad? It's like, yeah, well, look at him, kind of thing. So it's like, a perceived persona of what, in obviously like pop culture or just anything in nature, you might think, all carnivorous animals are like bad.
Yeah.
Just categorise them in that sense.
Well, I feel like that's any person who's not white. People kind of tarnish.
They're a bit more wary of, aren't
in
they?
crime.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we're watching at the moment Larry Davis.
The Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, and he's got the black friend, and just then, like, he's putting on glasses. Oh, and now he's a respectable black man because he wears glasses. And it's like, how typically cliche is it?
Yeah.
Just because, he's still a human being, he still has a heart, he has a soul, he's still a normal person. It doesn't matter what colour you are. You've got good and bad in everything. And I feel like that's the same with an animal, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. You could have a nice shark.
But there's also another piece of dialogue I picked up that's later on in the film. But as I've been reading like the extras that came with this box set, do you know anything about the fable of the scorpion and the frog?
Nope. He does say something on the lines of it in this, I know.
So the story goes, the scorpion's wanting to cross a river. Mm-hmm. He sees a frog. He says, "Let me get on your back so I can cross the river." The frog says, "Well, how do I know you're not going to sting me? Because what scorpions do." He says, "No, promise I won't, because I'll die too." So frog carries him across the river. Halfway across, the scorpion stings him, the frog, and they both obviously sink. And the frog's like, "Why? Why did you do that?" And the scorpion says, "It's in my nature to do that." So again, like a thing that's built into that
character.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. And so it's interesting that obviously that Ryan's got the scorpion jacket on his costume essentially. Yeah. That's a very iconic jacket.
He's not the frog, even though he acts like the frog throughout.
Yeah, and he even says in that line, I think he's like, "Oh, he didn't make it across the river." This where he was on the phone to Rose. Mm-hmm. The end. Yeah.
I think for this, it's like the Hare and the Hound kind of situation, isn't it? Whereas, like, I know the Hare and the Tortoise. Is it the Hare and the Tortoise?
Yes.
Where the tortoise ends up winning the race.
How does that relate to this, though?
But I mean, it's just kind of a similar fable. Like, oh, that tortoise is going to be slow. You kind of perceive and presume that somebody's going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, you would perceive Ryan as a good character, so you would think he's not going to be like, he's going to be the frog. Mm-hmm. Instead, he's a scorpion, where he's like, actually, yeah, I'm going to hurt you to get what I want. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, the hare and the tortoise, you perceive that the tortoise isn't going to win. You think, oh, he's slower.
Right.
He's not going to win. But actually, in the end, he does win. So it's like, yet again, this cliche of perceiving, yes, okay, it's in your nature possibly, but to be slow. But actually, instead, the slower you are, the steadier you win the race.
Yeah, because in that fable, the hare was like, oh, cocky. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll just sit here and sleep. I've got ages to go. For him to even get to the line, I'll just sleep here. And then by the time he wakes up, the tortoise crosses the line. So, yeah.
Oh, very good lessons. So, with the bad guy, as we're going to call him, what's his name? Who know?
Well, Bernie Rose or the
dad.
Oh, he's now see that
is he chicken or is he
chicken?
Yeah, very smooth.
No,
or
he's
cook.
No, it's really weird. Standard.
Oh,
which is like again. That's why Irene says like, oh, where's the deluxe version? Again, it's not. Yeah, it's not a particular. I don't know, like why someone would call the son standard. But
well, we could go on to why does anyone call the son or daughter like Kanye West's, Northwest.
But
yeah, it's just the world we're in now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's done. You don't really know why he's in prison. Like that's something that's like, well, he's done something wrong, but you don't know what exactly.
Well, it's kind of brought up on the fact that he's. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was exactly, but
yeah, I think he's more like obviously when he has that welcome back party, he's like thanking all his families, thanking everybody for being there, apologising to Irene, saying, "Yep, I've done wrong. I'm not going to go back into that situation." And you kind of believe him somewhat because obviously he's grateful for being home and present and being with his family, but then I don't know. There's this other side of him where.
Well, I think that he's come back, but then he doesn't like go straight back into it. He's more ambushed by the people who want the money.
He's not
that
open and honest with his family, though, is he?
Well, no.
Like, he could be explaining to Irene, right, okay, we need to move, or I owe people money for, And I think that is what Ryan's character is good with Irene. He is honest. He explains to her the circumstances, the situation when her husband passes away. He's truthful, and I think the more honest you are, the better outcome you're going to get.
Yeah, but at the same time, it leads to, because he's doing these, what he thinks are heroic acts, let's say, that his friend Shannon, who works at the
Is that
garage,
Walter?
yeah, Walter White, yeah, gets roped into. But he's working with Bernie Rose, yeah, as well.
So I feel like inevitably he would eventually get killed off. He'd mess up and he would die. Mm-hmm. Also, he just looked like Walter White in this like completely the same shifty character.
Without the glasses. And
but then he still had a hobble, when...
He didn't have a hobble.
Well, he was quite ill, wasn't he, when he was diagnosed with cancer and such, and a bit frail, so a similar kind of shifty, we just need to do this to get more money, and I don't know. My mum says this wisest thing, and I think it is the smartest thing she's ever said to me, and I think it really opens your eyes. If you chase money, it's never going to come to you. It's just not going to happen. Like, and I know somebody famous would say, I've got loads of money now. But it's different. They chased either fame or, like, to be a musician or
with fame normally comes money, doesn't it?
It does, but if you're just going, I'm just going to put on the lottery because I want to win, or
that's
I'm going to put
fix. It's not hard work, is it?
Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying if you work hard you won't get rewarded, you will. But...
yeah, in that sense.
Eventually, but if you're working hard in the wrong place because you're not passionate about it, like a corporate job and you're just going up the ladder, that's just chasing money as well, isn't it? And you're just not going to be happy at the end of it with loads of stress, a higher wage.
That's putting work in for something that you're not passionate about just to get money, not as opposed to, I'm going to flip some cocaine or something and make a quick, cool, I don't know how much drugs cost, but, like a couple grand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's quite weird because I feel like this guy, Walter's character, or what did you call him? Shannon, which is weird because that's the lady's name to me.
But again, I think it's more of a surname.
Ah, okay.
Basis.
Can we just call him Walter?
Yeah.
Cool. He's taken on Ryan's character as like a bit of a son. Like, he's somewhat nurturing him, gave him a job, helped him get into like the stunt double career. He's really helped him with every kind of path he's taken. I feel like he's even the one that's kind of said, on a night you can do these stunts, and he's bringing the work to Ryan, his character. Mm-hmm. But all for a gain and a profit. He's never just doing it for the good of Ryan's character. It's always we'll go halves even though Ryan's doing all the work and I've just sat on my ass and done naff all.
Mm-hmm. Just like a manager does, doesn't it? Yeah. Like an agent, like, that's what I mean by that. Not like an actual, like...
Well, anyone above you, to be fair, sits on their ass and does not.
I guess. But, yeah.
They get paid for that, don't they, though?
To monitor that. And they got to be the spokesperson for the company. And But yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. But he's a bit of a cowardly custard character. And, I don't know, he just feels a bit of a snake in the grass. Like, I feel like he'd turn on Ryan at any point if it meant he would better himself.
No, I don't see that in this. He feels like genuine in that sense. That
I don't know, like, if they knew he had to kill Ryan off, he would let them, I feel. Like, if it was me or if it was...
He wouldn't get his hands dirty.
No, but if it was...
Except for, obviously, working in the garage, but yeah.
If it was a case of him saving his own bacon, I feel like he would throw him under the bus.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't kill him. He wouldn't go out of his way to kill him, or he wouldn't hurt anybody, I don't think. But I think because he's such a snitch, he would kiss anybody's ass just to better himself. But still, he does give Ryan's character time with Irene. He can see there's a spark. Yeah. Don't you think it's an awkward silence when Irene and Ryan Gosling's character's on screen? Like, this awkward, lust kind of look.
Yeah, because they don't know how to approach, because it's never, other than a kiss that they share, it's never like, it doesn't go any further. Like in other films it would like be applied that, just like hi kind of thing, and they look at each other, and then not before long, that they're in a relationship. Getting
because it did startle
more
me
involved. But I think it's just on a it goes as far as touching hands, basically, really, and lips later on, but
lips later on.
Yeah,
but you said to me that you were like, "Oh, Irene's still married," and I were like, "Huh?" Because initially she says, "Oh," because Ryan's character says, "Where's her son's dad?" She went, "Oh, his father's in prison." She didn't say, "My husband's in prison," so she didn't imply that they were together.
Yeah.
So Ryan was like, "Oh, okay, it's his father," but doesn't mean
anything. Yeah.
So that he was getting quite close, assuming, you know.
Yeah, but she was leading him on in that sense as well, anyway.
Yeah.
Because she was looking because of the fact that then she got caught pregnant young, and so I was like, again, like looking for an out in that sense, really, with somebody who's like, oh, someone who cares for me.
Yeah, and I think because she got caught so young, she hadn't she got married quite quickly. It was like, oh right, this is my person
Shotgun
now.
wedding, essentially.
Yeah, and I don't think it was actually who she really wanted. I think if she hadn't got pregnant, would she have stayed with him? Mm-hmm. Probably not.
No.
She would have probably liked Ryan. She did seem attracted to him. Mm-hmm. She seemed intrigued by him. She really invested in his character.
Yep.
Until later on, where it goes a bit down south with him.
Well, I don't think even then she wasn't like horrified by his actions, really, because I think she's maybe come to expect that with her husband, essentially.
I think so, but I don't think she thought
first hand seeing it.
Yeah, and I don't think she thought he would be the kind of character to do that. I think she thought she was getting away with that from, like, her husband and going with him. That wouldn't be the same scenario, which sadly it was. So I think she was better off without both in the end, which was quite sad for her, because I think that's all she'd kind of wanted was her son to have like a father figure.
Yeah. So the other guy we've got, who's like the main baddie, I would say, is Nino, who's he's you might recognise him from like Hellboy. You know, obviously he was in prosthetics for that, but I think is he also in? I'm not really seeing it. Sons of Anarchy or something like that.
I don't know why we haven't watched that.
Because it sounds boring as hell.
Oh.
Like, just loads riding motorbikes.
Apparently it's really good. My sister used to watch it and she loved it.
I don't know. There's probably more to it than that.
I think there is.
I don't know. Just it sounds a bit like The Walking Dead, where you know exactly what each episode's going to be about.
True, but then you can say that about Breaking Bad, like, oh, they're just selling drugs. Yeah,
no, but there's more.
I know there is. We've watched it, but I'm just saying you could cliche any of them if you wanted to. But yeah, he is definitely from Hellboy, which is a good film. I've actually seen that, Paul. Only because my mum fancied him.
Well, Hellboy?
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
Each to their own. So those two are you bad? You've got like a partnership, haven't you, with them both, where, I don't know, it's like good cop, bad cop, so to speak, I'd say. Hellboy character is all guns blazing, like, once you've trespassed me, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then the other guy...
What, Rose?
He does kill everybody, but I think he does that just because...
He's prompted by Nino to do it, so, like his henchman at the strip joint.
Yeah.
So, well, you know too much, so I'm going
to have to kill you.
Yeah. What did you make of all like the violence in this? Because it is an 18 rated film.
I noticed. I did think, oh, really, Paul? Like, going in hardcore here. I know you've had a couple of...
Well, Alien was also a 18, which
What are you doing to me?
I don't even know if, like, by today's standards, it probably would drop to a 15, but...
It wasn't that gory, to be fair, in this. It wasn't too bad. It was a bit... With, like, slitting the arm of Walter's character was a bit like... And there was a lot of blood, but apart from... Actually, no. There's a couple of eye situations that did freak me out.
About, what's her name now?
Oh, the woman that did on the heist with the... The pawnbroker.
Yeah.
And her head, that was gory, actually. I've tried to forget about all of this,
Shotgun blast to the head.
Yeah, that was horrific. There was a couple where I did turn away, so maybe that's why I'm thinking it's not too bad, because I just don't look.
Yeah, a couple of stabbings into the chest and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, the throat.
Yeah,
up. Yeah. But, I don't know, I think overall, the driving side of things, the gore, the action, it was good the way that it did the beat of a film of an action.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like here's all boom, 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 action, action.
Like it would be in Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
So, which, outside topic off that really, somebody, I think they saw the trailer for this. This was obviously when the film came out, and complained because they subverted their expectations on the film, thinking it was all about like there's not enough driving like in Fast and Furious film. And so,
but there is quite a bit of driving. Like the first opening scene is driving.
Yeah, and that's really that's all that takes in place in like say like the 5-minute window that he's got, and then even obviously seen it multiple times, and I'm still getting that sort of like, oh my god, like the tension building in that from that
just
scene
reminds you of Grand
really,
Theft Auto, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah. You're doing a mission, and it's like, oh, avoid the police, and the helicopters coming searching for you, kind of,
and then hide under like the bridge,
and then your stars go down.
Yeah,
once it's all clear. Yeah,
I don't know the suspense of it with every driving scene that he does. Like we've got the first opening shot, we've got him obviously being a stunt double, we've got him doing the other heist with Irene's husband. We've got the one where he kills off one of the baddies.
Yeah, there's like a car chase as well, isn't there?
Yeah, after the heist. Yeah. So there is more than like what you're thinking.
There's a small handful, but it's not all driving.
But that'd be boring.
Yeah.
And also the dialogue in this is really, even though there's not a lot, it still shows you a story. It's not just like this is the film, it's about driving and action and that's it. And
yeah, it's not like a bunch of like one-liners, quippy remarks and all that stuff. Like I say, like I don't think I could sit through a Fast and Furious film because it just looks absolutely awful.
Yeah, it does. I don't think I've even watched one, and
I think I've watched one like the very, very first early days, like early 2000s, but it just didn't hold my attention. Obviously, and I would watch a lot of crap when I was younger, just like recording off the on the little digital box for any things that were on the
little band.
But yeah, no,
I've not watched Transformers either.
I've watched that one, but yeah, it's just a load of schlocky shit. Basically, like it's just explosions and like a kid playing with toys bashing together, and it's like that makes for a film. Apparently, it just looks and they keep there's I think where the CGI stuff and everything, but they keep churning this stuff out, and it just looks awful. It just looks so even at an age where obviously a lot younger, and I grew out of that pretty quick, like that kind of level of like, this just looks awful now, and just
I've never seen them.
Yeah,
and I grew up with a lot of action films, like Jason Statham and everything like that, and I think I didn't mind them at a point, but I feel like this actually has a deeper level. It's got an action packed, but it's got a story.
It's got drama, and
you're rooting for the characters. You do invest in them and care.
Yeah,
you do, like 100%. Like you want Irene to be okay. The way that it ends as well.
Yeah.
God, that got me. I was like, "He's clearly dead. He's clearly dead."
Is he blinking?
Is he blinking? And I'm like, and then I went, "Yep, he's dead." And then he blinked.
It's like, yeah.
I was like, "Yay!"
Suspense. Which I don't know if thinking of that, if that would that have been like, if that ended there, like would fade to black, cut to black at that point before he even blinked, would you assume like he's dead, or would it be like one of those kind of scenarios where it's like, is he
No, I'd have assumed he was dead because credit to Ryan Gosling for staying still that long and not blinking. Like how the hell he did that. I was convinced at one point he's like, yep, he's dead. But even when he went for that call, I was wondering if is it going to be one of these films where he just dies, like, and he dies in vain somewhat for like Irene, like like he sacrifices himself for
what you
her.
You might think, isn't it? Yeah, like he's being the hero in this.
Yeah.
His good actions lead to his demise, as it were, or what he thinks are good actions.
He's only doing it to protect her, though. And can we talk about this clever shot where this is what I love about this film, and I think this is why it's so clever, is, for example, they're having a standoff talk in the restaurant about, oh, well, if you just give me the money, I'll take it. Can't say that we're not going to come after you, but Irene will be left alone. Then they go to the car, and it's kind of still flitting back from that scene in the restaurant to them going out in the car, and I didn't know if it was like is he thinking this is what could happen?
Oh, right. With the editing, you mean?
Yeah,
of how it's done. Yeah.
Is it like he's gonna kill me if I go to the car, and he's replaying in his head
what might happen?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh well, is this actually happening now? Is it not? Because we keep cutting back and forth. Yeah. And then the scene where you see Ryan's character get stabbed, and I actually did go like that.
Did, yeah.
I was very dramatic because I didn't suspect that this was happening, and then I was like, oh, maybe it's not real, maybe it is. Mm-hmm. But then the shadow, I know it sounds daft. It was he then stabbed, what was his name?
Rose, yeah.
And then they were on the floor, and basically.
But you weren't sure who it was, do you mean? Or could you tell from his...
I could tell that it was Ryan just because he was a thinner and taller character. But then you were just seeing the shadow with a gun, and it was kind of leaving you still not 100% sure. Who
rose up from that situation.
And it was just really good at leading you in a suspense that you just didn't know, and I thought that was really cleverly done.
Yeah, the editing in terms of like cutting between like a conversation somebody having and their actions isn't like uncommon for that to occur.
But then that's when I was thinking that's why it could be a dream sequence, or it could be like Ryan's head thoughts are going out, but obviously it doesn't pan that way. And the way it ends, normally this would miss me off, but I think he knows he needs to stay away from Irene to make her safe, even though he's killed Rose off and he's killed whoever the other Oogie Boogie guy is.
Nino. Yeah.
And he's killed both of them off. It doesn't mean we know, don't we? Yeah. With these kind of characters, there's always a baddie after a baddie, and then
there's someone steps in place, and they're like going to find it.
So he just drives off into the distance.
He just drives,
And it's like, Irene's okay. She knows.
Yeah, so she does care because, like, the fact she goes to knock on his door is like, oh, we'll see if he's all right. Kind of thing. So it's not like she's written him off completely.
No, I think initially, if he'd have gone after her once he'd done like the head kicking of that guy, because obviously he was protecting her as well.
Yeah.
I think that would have gone the opposite way, but because he kind of just let her go, she knew that actually, he was just frustrated and angry and wanting to look after me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's going to do that to me.
Oh no, of course not. No. It was all to protect her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good film. Oh, how he kills the other henchman, not Rose, the other one. He does a really good car chase after him, but quite cleverly, like he's stalking him in the car, chasing after him for quite a while, hits him at one side, then comes back and they're like, oh, what was that? And they stop.
And he pushes him off that very small edge,
And it makes it look like it's, well, for all they know, he could have just literally had an accident.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, drowned or whatever, like... Because it's quite funny how he keeps walking towards his character and he's like, and just keeps running towards the sea. And like you even said, well, I don't really know what he's gaining from that because...
where's he going to go? He's going to swim across.
Yeah.
Just to get away from him.
But actually quite a coward of a character, the way he ran away.
Well, it was in that situation. It was, oh, please don't hurt me.
Yeah, even though they're okay hurting everybody else.
Their lives in danger. Yeah, exactly. It turns at that point. And... at that point, so he's wearing a mask at that point as well, Ryan's driver character, from his stunt work.
Yeah.
Just to, so the an unknown assassin, essentially.
And I think with, like, Ryan's character, he does have emotions. So, like, when he saw Walter's, like, character had been killed, you could see, like, he was whelming up. He was getting really upset. And, like, he was even upset for Irene's husband passing away, like, and getting murdered basically because he was upset for the son not having a dad then.
Yeah.
So his morals were in the right place.
So other things I've got noted down that I've read from the book that came with the disc is took inspiration from Grimm's fairy tales, of all things.
Really?
In the sense of, like, good triumphs over evil, but with a bit more bloodshed. Not obviously not Disney ones. Obviously, it's normally the prince rescues the princess, but there's not really anybody killed or in a violent way as such. Or sometimes they are perceived in that.
It's normally your baddie, isn't it?
Pushed off a cliff and that's about it, or something. But
yeah, no, true.
Yeah, just that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I know I haven't seen this film yet, but the way that Ryan's character's mannerisms are not too dissimilar from the main character in Taxi Driver, who's obviously like another person who drives around in a car and
Dodgy dealings.
and has like sort of double life, kind of,
Okay.
doing one thing, but then also gets involved in sort of like crime stuff on the side of that. And I love this. Also, the fact that Driver has in this is sort of similar principles or acts in certain ways, like Blondie in Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Like silent for the majority of it.
Yeah.
And as like, is he good? Is he bad? Really?
True.
Yeah.
However, I feel like I would say Ryan's character is more good than bad, even though he does a lot of bad things. I think he's doing it more for the greater good than it is the bad. However, doesn't mean the good, the bad, and the ugly. He is, because he's selfish and he's only doing it for himself. Why do we always have to bring good and the bad and the ugly in a conversation? I get on my high horse and I just get really pissed off.
That's just what I've read from the articles in it, so I thought,
we have to put that in.
Just to... Well, that's everything other than the music as well. I know something that it has that kind of like some of the tracks in it are maybe 80s like synth pop inspired.
I'm trying to think of the music that was in it when he said music.
It's
but more the
after once he's done his first driving duty at the start of the film. There's like when the credits sort of come on, and there's like that 80s beat kind of.
It's good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Right. Well, that being said, then it's time for the scoring, and you're up first.
No, I'm not. Ryan's performance in this was really sterlingly solid. It was pretty good. Pretty
good.
And he, I don't know. It was nice seeing him in a different light, like a baddie, somewhat anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Bit more action, which I haven't really seen him in. Normally, like a rom-commy kind of thing. But he did really well at being kind of like a bad-ish good character. To say he didn't have much dialogue, I feel like his persona spoke loud when he was in a room. Like, the way he acted gave you, like, the understanding of who he was. And he was able to kind of really go into the character. The driving was astonishing. Like, literally, it was amazing. Like, I loved the driving scenes, which is weird. I don't know if it's because I'm doing my lessons at the moment. I was like, reversing back, then doing the spin. I was like, bloody hell.
Yeah, I couldn't even do that.
Yeah. So, kind of really appreciating it, apart from them being on the wrong side of the road, which is a bit weird.
Damn Americans.
I know. Even though we're, like he said, we're the minority, really.
Yeah.
We've got some really strong actors throughout. Obviously, you've got Irene's character, who you said was from...
Yeah, Promising Young Women.
You've got Walter White, which is Breaking Bad guy. You've got Hellboy's character. So you've got quite a few well-known characters throughout as well. Well, actors throughout and actresses. Yep. Would I watch it again? Yes. Film time, was it good? Yes. Clever camera cinematography? Yes. Intriguing and made me not know how it was going to end, but in a good way. And it didn't miss me off that they weren't together, because, like I did say to you, eventually I think, oh, well, he will get with Irene eventually. Like, they'll just, once it's all blown over, they'll be fine. And that's how I took it in my head, that they were meant to be, just not right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, all in all, I think I'm going to give it a 9. I don't know what is stopping me for the 10.
Well, don't worry, because I already noted down on Letterboxd what I'd scored this film.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also a 9.
Okay.
So, likewise, I'm not sure what pushes it up to a 10, but because all the elements are there for an enjoyable action, thriller, drama, whatever you want to class it as well. But, yeah, I mean, it could necessarily bump up to 9.5, I guess. Obviously, more seeing it as it's really, I say, like a fantastic watch, really. There's intrigue, as you said, with all the characters. They all gel and work together. The action sequences are pretty on point. There's the tension when the driving scenes are taking place as well, which, as I say, spacing them out equally throughout the film rather than just being all about driving would be pretty boring. So
Exactly.
So I'm going to keep it at 9.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Done well there for a change.
Yes, well done. Thank you for that. I enjoyed it.
One other thing as well, the fact that all these years later, and obviously in this film he was a stuntman,
and now he's doing stuntman.
Now he's doing that in the film. Emily Blunt, the fall guy. Now he's a stuntman.
I'm intrigued to see that. To be fair. So
I wonder if he's sort of got his sensibilities, sort of obviously not really violent ones, I wouldn't have thought, but they're sort of like, obviously he's come off the back of Barbie now from that
Barbie and
film.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go watch it. I'm either going to love it or hate it.
You told me that when you saw the trailer, you were like, I'm a bit wary.
I think it just looks OTT.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, I've heard positives and negatives, but that's the nature of films, isn't it, sometimes?
Well, yeah. They're not tailored for everyone to like them, because there won't be any different genres otherwise.
Yeah, but again, bringing it back to that, what's good and bad, like what do you perceive? There's certain films you would just automatically assume they're bad.
Yeah.
Like for you, for example, you would put any Adam Sandler film, mark it down as bad from the get-go without even like knowing anything about it.
But don't get me wrong, I've watched near enough all his stuff, so he's reaped his money off me.
His track record is not so good.
Well, no, but also my dad invested loads of money watching his shite. So don't worry, he's got his fair share of wealth from it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah,
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Cut. Drive off to the sunset. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode. And if you want to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And as always, be sure to leave us a 5-star review over on those platforms as well. Be very much appreciated and helps with the algorithm. Because to new listeners.
Speaking of new listeners, you can also come and follow our socials. So we are under the handle SP_filmviewers on Threads, TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter.
Say Twitter, because...
Oh, thank you. You made me say X sometimes.
I know. This is the thing, everyone keeps saying it's why you call it X, because it's just so stupid. It's just stupid. So it's
Twitter makes more sense because you just Twitter on. It makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, what's wrong with me today? Jesus.
I'd also like to thank the Patreons, of course, for their continuing support. And, of course, we're going to read out their names in a moment. But if you would like your name shouted out every single episode and the chance to vote for a movie we watch once a month, you can do so by going to patreon.com/spfilmviewers for as little as £1 or $1.50 a month.
So shall we start with our podcast family first? Because we always leave them till last. So we've got Nico from the Good, the Bad and the Weird podcast. We've got Ben from Film Vloggers, prior, and now Push Pull Health. We've got Mark from 100 Things We Learnt from Film.
Then we've got our close friends who are Gren, who is at cgren_draw on Instagram. Emma, who is at m_Hayton on Instagram. Jonesy, who is at weightlossjonesy on Instagram.
And then lastly but not least, we've got Alex and Shani, who are both on Instagram under the handles Desperately Seeking Username and SDOG. And my mum, sorry.
Is there anything else to add before we wrap up?
No, just thanks to everyone for listening. Thank you to the support from the patrons, and I hope everyone enjoyed this episode.
So thank you for listening once again, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.